All right. Hello and welcome to At Home With. Love the great graphics, love the concept. Brought to you by the amazingly dedicated corporate partners of the North Carolina Football Club and supported today in part by the Oak City supporters, the wonderful supporters group for North Carolina FC, as well as the Renegados. Of course, want to thank Ryan Jernigan with the Oak City supporters and want to thank Walt and Jaime with the Renegados. My name is Dean Linke, proud to be the original voice of North Carolina FC, including our start as the then named Carolina Railhawks. Before we meet our special guest today, on behalf of the North Carolina Football Club, I again want to extend our prayers and sympathies to any of you who have lost a loved one to this dreaded pandemic. And I also want to salute all of the amazing medical personnel and first responders who are on the front line. You truly are our heroes, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart. Speaking of thank yous, I want to thank the entire North Carolina Football Club organization led by owner Steve Malik, President GM Kurt Johnson, Pete Chandra, Kyle Prairie, and the entire staff, and give some extra special love to Jorge Acuna, the VP of Broadcasting, who's done great work with At Home With, as well as Morgan Brown, Kyle McHugh, and Santiago. With that behind us, let's roll a video of today's guest. He is a man among boys, a 6'5" giant. He reminds me of the Jolly Green Giant. This man is a goal scorer. He's got a little Zlatan in him, I think. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the man can flat out score. And just seven starts last year, 26 games under 900 minutes. He tied for the team lead with 9 goals and 2 assists. He was the super sub. The man's got the size and the power, but he's also got the deft touch, just like that one, to find the back of the net. A great debut for North Carolina FC. The fans love him, and a little later on, we'll show how much they love him when they actually have him wear the mask. Watch the power of this man, Robby Kristo. You cannot track him down, and he can finish. Scored a ton of goals in college, 41 goals, 15 assists in just 71 games. Former Herman Trophy semifinalist, and there he is. Robby Kristo, welcome to At Home With.
Dean, pleasure. Glad to be here.
Yeah, great to be with you as well. And it's kind of nice to be sitting here and you sitting there as opposed to me looking way up at you, 6'5". You are a giant out there. Let's talk a little bit about that. Growing up, were you always the big man or did you have a late growth spurt?
I was gonna say middle school was my growth spurt. So young age, I was really small and really skinny. I kind of had grown in my body through middle school.
All right, let's get to know you a little bit better because I'm pretty sure your mom and dad are both from Bosnia. You can correct me on that. Are they still there? Do you still have family over there? Talk about whether you grew up there at all and when you came over to the States.
So my parents are both born in the former Yugoslavia, and then I was born in Bosnia as well. That's where my dad was on the front line fighting the war. So my mom took me over to Bosnia to her mother and father's home there. So I was born there, but within 6 months I moved to Croatia, where they normally lived, and I grew up in Croatia and Split. And at around 5 years old, the war was not really settled down yet. So we got on actually like a refugee program that brought me to St. Louis, along with, I want to say, between 50 to 60,000 other Bosnian Croatians at that time.
Okay, so how long did you live in St. Louis then? Because you obviously decided to stay and go to college there as well.
Right. So until I was 21. So when I finished SLU, so from the age of 5.5 until about 21 when I headed to Italy.
Okay, and what youth soccer club? There's so many great soccer players
The
that have come out of St. Louis.
the one and only, the St. Louis Scott Gallagher.
Okay, that is a legendary program. They've sent players all over the place. They've got a great pipeline to Indiana, among other schools. What made you decide to go to St. Louis? I think it's going to be a name that we're going to get to know around here.
Yeah. So actually, I was a ball boy when I was U10. I was playing for Gallagher, and we were ball boys for the SLU men's team, and they played IU, actually, full packed Herman Stadium, and I fell in love with it. Fell in love.
Yeah, St. Louis is really, for me, the original soccer town USA. I mean, they talked about Rochester, Kearney, New Jersey, some other places, but when I was with US Soccer, if we had a big World Cup qualifier or Olympic qualifier, we were playing it in St. Louis.
Yeah, I mean, with our history, I mean, St. Louis soccer and I mean, SLU University still has the most national titles, not to hate on any of the IU fans or those guys. But definitely, I still hold a couple, trophies up there.
Oh, well, former Atlantic 10 Conference Offensive Player of the Year at SLU. You had an incredible performance there. And of course, your senior year Herman Trophy semifinalist. What were some of your best moments at St. Louis?
You know what? Just the family and the bond the team created, and it was a similar group through my freshman year through my senior year. It was a lot of the same starting guys, right? So we had 6 freshmen start, and at the end of it, the juniors and the guys that were falling off, we were just kind of putting pieces together. So we really built a great bond.
I did notice I referenced Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's also a beast. When you're next to him, the guy is a giant and he moves well. And I mean, what a job he did even coming over during that just year and a half or so with the LA Galaxy. This guy's listed as one of your heroes.
That is my idol. That guy. I mean, I look up to how he plays and the things he's done. I mean, they're just incredible. I mean, before every home match, we have a TV in the locker room, and I make everyone watch Zlatan goals about 30, 45 minutes prior. Everybody, the whole locker room has to watch.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So you decided when you were done with St. Louis to give it a shot over in Europe. You spent a couple years in Italy and Germany, 3 years combined. Not exactly sure how long in each place, but talk about your experience over in Italy and Germany.
So agent called me and said, "Hey, you got a European passport. A bunch of MLS teams are interested in you. They want to draft you. I need to let them know what we're doing." I said, "What do you got for me in Italy?" And he goes, "Well, good news here. I got a Croatian head coach, a Croatian sporting director with 10 other Croatians on the team in Serie B and Spezia. Are you interested?" I didn't even think twice. Let's do it. Where is it? I didn't even know where it was. I've never heard of Spezia. The most beautiful place. It's called Cinque Terre. It's called the Five Piers. If you've never seen it, unbelievable vacation spot. That's where I got signed my first contract, and it was incredible.
All right, fantastic. What do you felt? What did you learn the most about your time in Italy and Germany? I mean, did you learn how to be a professional? Did you learn how to take care of your body? What are some of the things that you learned?
So you have to grow up real quick. First time I was away from home, and I'm just put in an environment. Granted, I had very good people around me, but you're a, here's the true story. You come from a really good college career that means a good amount to these MLS teams, right? And the American people, and then you go to Italy and you're just a little fish in a big pond.
Here with
So
Robby Kristo. He led the team in goals last year, had a couple assists, and he started, of course, the first game of the season, the only game they were able to get in before the pandemic. And Robby, last year you were the super sub, limited minutes, but quality minutes. I think per minutes, nobody had a better goal scoring ratio than you. Talk about that role you had last year as the super sub.
So even coming in North Carolina, I talked to Dave Sarachan. I was coming off a really gruesome injury. I broke my ankle pretty much. I was out for about 13 months prior to that, so I haven't played in a while. So Dave called me and said, "We're gonna work you back into the field. We're gonna get you going and set the career straight." So that's what we did. It was my year to get back on track, and he knew what I had to do, and we kind of sat down and Dave walked me through the process, what they need out of me at the time, and it worked out as coming on late, big man, holding up balls, scoring goals, and that's what I did.
All right. Listen, before we take our first break, we are going to take some questions after our third break to wrap up the show. But one of the themes of all the questions I want to get to you now, and that is what have you been doing during this pandemic? How have you stayed busy?
So a lot of fishing, a lot of alone time. You go to, local lakes in Raleigh and ponds, and I just like to fish, catch bass and crappie and some catfish sometimes, and I love it. And that's what I do.
That's your sweet zone, right? Your
That
peaceful
is.
spot. Fishing. Awesome. Love to go fishing with you someday. Robby Kristo, the giant for North Carolina FC. We'll have more with Home with Robby Kristo after these messages from our corporate partners.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
Club and all the wonderful corporate partners for the North Carolina Football Club and the North Carolina Courage. We broke in at home with Denise O'Sullivan yesterday. Today it's North Carolina FC's Robby Kristo, and Denise O'Sullivan was on yesterday. And Robby, I got to tell you, I love calling both teams. The North Carolina Courage are so awesome. Just talk about that connection, the synergy. Hopefully you're able to take in some games because they're legit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the fact that even they live in the same apartment complex with us, so getting to know them and just bonding and making the bond stronger just for the whole entire club, and it's fantastic.
I want to get back to it's easy to point out, kind of like with Dave Sarkin, it's easy to point out that he's not exactly tall. It's definitely easy to point out that you are a giant. I kind of want to get back to that because you got to use what God has given you, and you do that. Talk about knowing how to use your body, particularly when you've got smaller defenders on you.
Just growing up and just kind of being adjusted to your strength and in your body. It's common sense that I'm using what God gave me, right? So just being able to hold a guy off or out jump a guy or have a little step over a guy. It's not always for me about the dribbling move. It's more about my physical work and where I place my body.
Have you ever had like a defender run into you and just splat go down and say something to you like,
I
man,
actually I remember a couple times last year. So if you don't remember the Ottawa game back, I went up for a header that DJ went on a long ball too. He played. I pretty much knocked the kid down. I mean, they were screaming foul, and then went to Manny. Manny gave it back to me. I scored the goal. After the defender was like just talking a whole bunch of smack to me. It's like it's a foul. It's too physical. A bunch of stuff.
I love seeing that. Well, look, we did get one game in and you got the start, which appears to be your role this year. And you made a lot of sense by telling us you overcame that injury, which was part of the reason you worked your way back into form and were so quality scoring goals in limited minutes. Let's roll the video because incredible service coming from Nasby Abadawi. And I was ready to go nuts. I was ready to do a whole lot of how about North Carolina FC? Break it down here, Robby.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful ball. I was telling Nas earlier, play earlier balls because the defender's stepping up high. And Nas just looked at it, played it in. I mean, the goalie, you can see right here, made an unbelievable save. That was going right down under the crossbar. It hit off the crossbar after he tipped it out.
Yeah,
I thought it was in.
Yeah, of course you were making the turn for celebration, and I wonder if you were going to make the turn to go find that mask. We're going to get to that later, but is it definitely no mask right now? What's the deal with that?
Not yet. We're still a little early. Don't want to rack up my yellow cards. We had that. We almost had that problem last year.
Indeed. Going back to that opportunity there, though, as you start the season and that almost goes in, coming back, reversing the fact that you were a sub last year. Now it looks like you're going to go 90 minutes or try to go 90 minutes. Is that what you prefer to do? Most people say they always want to start, Robby.
It's where you're at, right? And I think last year it was satisfactory to know my position and my play, and now you take on a bigger role. So I'm okay with it. I'm ready for it, and I hope I can shine as much as I did last year in that position, in this position.
So part of that shining was working in the off season, working on your fitness, and then boy, Mother Nature and higher powers send this pandemic, Corona, through us. And now fitness, I'll tell you what, both physically and mentally is going to be a key concern for all of you great athletes. How you've been able to keep up a routine to stay fit.
It's just at your own comfort. You know what your body needs, and you know how much time you need to take to do what you got to do. So, I mean, the coaches do a great job, and then even Mike Young with Athletic Lab send out programs, and they know how we are and what we do. They don't want us to max out right now. They don't want us to do nothing. So they kind of give us a little medium to work on things and small stuff that will help for the long run.
All right, we touched on it earlier as I'm going to go back again to your college years. Remind folks that at St. Louis, he scored 41 goals and 15 assists in 71 games. That's 97 points, folks, in 71 games, averaging over a point a game during his amazing college career. In fact, he was the Herman Trophy semifinalist his senior year in 2014. We want to show some pictures that I think we have of you and Mike McGinty. There it is, during your college days. And now Dave Sarakin, as we touched on earlier, has now hired Mike McGinty to be an assistant coach. And you got to be loving that.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. I mean, McGinty as well. I mean, like I said, consider McGinty like a second father to me. You know, he's known me from U16, and we're still close today, even before he signed with North Carolina. I think he had even a big role of me coming to North Carolina because he was in good contact with Dave.
So, what's it been like to be reconnected with him after being apart for a little bit?
You know, it's great. There's a bit of how do I say it? Amusement. We have a lot of jokes, a lot of old days in college that we can look back and laugh about today. That was maybe not so funny back then.
When you think about your time at St. Louis under Mike McGinney, is there one particular moment that stands out above all the others?
You want to talk on the field or off the field?
Maybe we'll start with on the field because we'll keep this one PG for off.
I will. On the field, I think we won our first A10 title under McGinty. And I think it was my sophomore year. We won the title. We brought back the ring. I mean, just the happiness. And he came from a winning Virginia side that he was assistant coach. So him getting a title there, and I mean, I think it was a good time for all of us. That was definitely one of our highlights.
Well, that certainly makes sense. Everybody remembers those big winning moments. We're trending right now with The Last Dance. It'll be on tomorrow. Michael Jordan, incredible player, fierce competitor, kind of laying it all out there. One of the big moments, and I asked this question to Denise O'Sullivan. So as we say hello again to the wonderful supporters group tonight, Oak City supporters, and also the Renegados, I apologize for some of these questions being repetitive, but I think it's relevant. And that is Scottie Pippen said, or rather Michael Jordan said, my best teammate ever is Scottie Pippen. There's no Batman without the Robin, Batman and Robin, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. When you look at this team right now, who's your Scottie Pippen? Who's your main man?
I got three guys that four guys right now. It's a little like what's the Teen Titans called? It's five of them. They all work together. So my guys that provide me assists now, so I'm Nas, Dre, Manny, and Graham Smith. Those guys can put those balls in a dime for me, and that's it. I mean, you also have Ben Spees, and I can go down the list, but I can't just name one guy.
Yeah, well, but I like the fact that you're naming guys that get what they need to do. They need to find the 6'5" target man in and around the six to do what you do, right?
It helps. It helps just, I know what they're thinking. So it makes it simple.
With let's talk about Nazmi a little bit more. Nazmi Abadawi rejoining the team last year. I think he kind of had to sort of settle in a little bit, but now it looks like he's back to wearing the captain's armband, being the leader. I think that kid is a solid citizen. What's it like playing with Nazmi Abadawi?
I haven't met a better kid. I mean, he's magical on the ball. He sees the field differently. He opens my eyes up. There are times where he'll play a ball. I'm like, wow. Like he saw that before I did. And I mean, getting on the same page and playing with him under a season, I think this year was supposed to be something special, honestly.
All right, let's talk about this young back line for North Carolina FC, because I'm assuming there are times where you're going toe to toe with the starting defenders back there: Brotherton, Alex Kamsia, Duvernay, DJ Taylor, Connor Donovan. We've added some depth defensively. Is there one of those guys that you two really go at it every day in practice?
I can say me and Sammy Brotherton. I mean, that's just two tanks going. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's just a lot of weight being thrown around. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. How about Sam Brotherton? I mean, this guy, I think he's only like 23 or 24. I mean, and he acts older than me, and I'm 50. I mean, this guy is old beyond his years, right?
Yeah, I think that's the Australian, New Zealand, English, wherever his family's from England, but he's living in New Zealand. But it's that mentality they have.
Before we take another break, again, this is brought to you and supported by the Oak City supporters and the Renegados. They really took to you. Of course, they always take to a guy that can score double-digit goals. But how about that relationship with these supporters groups?
That is what makes me love this game. Honestly, I mean, scoring goals, winning championships, that's also great. but the fans getting involved and them loving every minute of it and supporting what I do and what the team does makes our life so much better and happier.
All right, I love it. Yesterday, Denise O'Sullivan had a big unveil. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Robby Kristo is going to have a big unveil. Hang on to your shoes, folks, as we check out the newest look for the big man up top, the great goal scorer, Robby Kristo, who we are at home with.
At Coastal Credit Union, we offer financial services, but we're not a bank, and that's a good thing. Here's why. Banks answer to Wall Street. At Coastal, we're owned by our members. That means we answer to you. Banks charge their customers inflated, unnecessary fees to increase their profits. We actually share our profits with our members through higher dividends, better rates, and lower fees. Find out more about how we're different than banks and how we work harder for you and your money at bankbetter.org.
If you have recently suffered an injury or had surgery, let the experts at Select Physical Therapy get you back to an active lifestyle. Our comprehensive programs deliver the highest level of physical therapy, hand therapy, sports medicine, and work health rehabilitation. Our highly skilled therapists develop individualized treatment plans to exceed your expectations. So don't live in pain. To request an appointment today, visit selectphysicaltherapy.com. Select Physical Therapy, the power of physical therapy.
Welcome back to At Home with Robby Kristo. This great one-on-one interview situation with players from the North Carolina Courage and North Carolina FC. Obviously tonight, North Carolina FC's superstar forward, Robby Kristo. Robby, we talked earlier about some of your time in Europe. I think we might have some photos about your time over in Europe. Let's take a look at some of those pictures in either Italy or Germany. You can break it down for us. I think Jorge's got some of that. It's listed on the format here. All right, actually, so we all right, look, we don't have any pictures. So paint a picture for us again over there. You said it was beautiful in Italy. Where'd you end up in Germany?
So in Osnabrück, it's right along pretty much like a half hour away from the Dutch border, the Netherlands border. So I got to live the best of both worlds, a little bit of Holland and a little bit of Germany.
Okay, outstanding. And what's talking about living over there and even living here? What's the go-to meal for you, Robby? What's your favorite foods?
You know, I love pasta. I love it. The Italians got me on pasta with Parmesan all over it. So any kind of pasta, really, I love it.
Okay, and then with your family, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
Just me.
Just you. Okay. All right. Very good. And what about cousins and uncles? And are they
50 million different cousins that I don't even know today, but they're always popping up somewhere. Mom says, you got a cousin here, you got a cousin there. That's how Croatians work. Everyone's a cousin.
All right. Well, listen, the one thing I know we do have is what we talked about earlier, and that is as you started scoring goals last year, the fans had a mask and you started wearing that mask. And as a broadcaster and with my broadcast partner, that was the best thing ever. Let's take a look at you scoring a goal and then going to the mask. Break it down for us, Robby Kristo.
I kind of just, I was just really excited. And then I remember at warm-ups, one of the guys said, throw on the mask, for the supporters. I was like, absolutely. You guys bring it down, I'm there. And so as you see, I got to get up from here, but I get up, they throw it to me, and I say, here you go. This is for you guys.
That was classic. And then you did it again, right? There was another game you did it again.
So I had to make up for it because I actually put the mask on the wrong way. My chin was at like the eye socket. I don't know if you got the other angle, so I had to really make up for it and make it a little better. So they got me a mask to fit my face, and I got that on the next game.
Well, as you know, the yellow card did come in there. So let's just learn a little bit more about the discussion you had with the great Dave Sarakin.
You know, Dave laughed at it the first time. You know, we got the win. It was all good. And then the second time came around and we're getting close to playoffs. He's, Rob, you know, it's good. I like it. I like the energy. I like the fans, but I need you in the game. So let's cut back on the mask for a little bit.
All right, that's fair enough. But he gave you a little bit of rope, but then pulled it back.
There you go.
What is it about Dave Saracen? I'll tell you what I find in him not only a great coach but a really great person.
I go amazing person. I mean that's what makes I think one of the things that make Dave a great coach as well. Aside from the soccer aspect of it, he knows how to talk to people and he knows how to get his point across to a level where people know how to respect it and listen to it and change with it. Rather than some coaches want to really drill things in you, he finds your I don't want to say your weakness, but your spot where he can hit and then have you work on it where you will improve not only yourself as a player, I mean, as a person. I mean, me and Dave had numerous talks about just my life, my how to change and to start this in the morning to be focused for training here and do this better. And it kind of all ties together.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people have said a lot of nice things about Dave Saracen, but we need to rack that right there, Robbie Crystal. That was an incredible soundbite with a lot of detail. I like it. We're at home with Robbie Crystal. We're going to take one more break to hear from our corporate partners. When we come back, we're going to take the questions from our incredible supporters from the Oak City Supporters Group and the Renegados. Questions after these messages.
If you have recently suffered an injury or had surgery, let the experts at Select Physical Therapy get you back to an active lifestyle. Our comprehensive programs deliver the highest level of physical therapy, hand therapy, sports medicine, and work health rehabilitation. Our highly skilled therapists develop individualized treatment plans to exceed your expectations. So don't live in pain. To request an appointment today, visit selectphysicaltherapy.com. Select Physical Therapy, the power of physical therapy.
A month from now, you'll be a little older. A year from now, you'll be a little wiser. Will you be stronger? Your best is not behind you. Look forward.
We're at home with Robbie Cristo. I'm Dean Linke, our VP of Broadcasting, Jorge Acuna, giving me a hard time because I didn't know we were on. So sometimes I was just looking into your eyes. I hope that's okay. The Oak City supporters, the Renegados, Dean Linke with Robbie Cristo. Robbie, we've got a lot of questions to get to from the great fan group. So let's go to work. First one is, how have you and your teammates been keeping fit with each other?
So not at all with each other. Literally, it's been solo work, or me and my roommate will do some work, some runs, some kettlebell workouts, some ball works, but it's a lot of individual stuff, honestly.
All right, let's talk communication. Our next question is about that. And we've got some new players on the team this year. So the question says, how are you, Robbie, forming soccer relationships with the new players who only got to see maybe a couple weeks with the team before everything shut down?
For me, easily, honestly, some people just say I can't stop talking. So even Daniele, being from Italy and me playing in Italy, he was a rookie, and I really got to know him very well, actually. And I mean, Akeem is my roommate, so I got to know him as a new player as well. The other guys, I'm social, so before everything went down, we would all hang out and just kick it in the apartments, play some pool, stuff like that.
Now, do you and Danelli, do you speak Italian because of the time you spent over there? Okay.
Fluently.
Is that what you guys speak more Italian than English,
Me,
or?
me and yeah, I would say it's 50-50. We like to mix it up a little bit.
That's awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
Give Daniele my best. I loved him at Duke, and he's a good young man. And his blogs that he's been writing, outstanding work for sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah, big time. I've been impressed by him. Hey, you've been super active outside since quarantine. Which activity have you enjoyed the most? I feel like you've already talked about it. It sounds like fishing.
Fishing is definitely a favorite. I mean, so I bought new rollerblades. I like to go long rollerblades. I used to play hockey when I was a kid, so just getting back into that. But fishing, I definitely go to hit up the lakes, catch a nice little bass, relax. Absolutely.
The next question from our fan says, "What's the biggest fish you've caught so far?"
I think it was a 13-pound catfish.
Nice. Now, did you
She was,
throw it back in, or what do you do
I,
with it?
I always throw them back in. I don't eat them.
Okay. Well, Jorge and I will get together with you and eat some catfish next time.
Oh, if you need it, I got it.
All right, cool. All right. Someone else says, "I'm just getting back into fishing myself. Do you have any tips?"
Yeah, I use a jig. Pretty much, it's a little hook. If you're gonna go bass fishing, they love it. It's a little hook, and the top of the hook, it's yellow and has like a little eye, like an eye design. And you add a worm to that. It's a smaller worm, and it's an orange little bait, and they love it. The bass love it. So if you want to use that, start it off. If not, I use plastic crawdad and little frogs. They love those.
Outstanding. All right. 13-pound catfish, little tips on how to hook them as well as we're at home with Robby Kristo. This next question is loaded. And I am just going to say that it must have something to do with the incredible rivalry we have with the Charlotte Independents. So it's loaded. I'm just reading them. So folks in Charlotte, take it easy on me. But it says, "Robby, what's the worst city you've ever been to, and why is it Charlotte?"
Not a fan of Charlotte. That's all I got to say. Definitely not a fan of Charlotte, especially now that they're supposedly getting an MLS team, and we'll get there. We'll get there. So I think our focus is more here, and I don't even know about that town really.
One of the things I love about the Oak City supporters, they're doing their best to continue to build it, add more energy, which the energy is fantastic. I mean, it never ever stops. You got to tip your hat to the Oak City supporters and the Renegados. But as you travel around, there's also some pretty good fan groups out there. What are some away places you like to go and play because the fans are so outstanding?
Um, Louisville was a good spot. I personally, one of my favorite, I mean, it's got to be St. Louis. I didn't get a chance to play there, but I know just the heritage there, and I know a lot of the guys. So I definitely, it's a close knit community as well. It's kind of like here, right? And I think that's one of my favorites to go to.
All right. What is the best thing for you about living in the Triangle, living here in the Raleigh, Cary, Durham, Chapel Hill area?
A couple things. Just how well connected the community is, and the people I've met. And I mean, I've met my new girlfriend here. I got a really good friend now that is actually the owner of Enrico's, the restaurant that sponsored us. He's a great guy, and just the connections I made, honestly. I didn't even know much about Raleigh before even coming here, and it feels definitely like a second home to me.
Robby Kristo, if you weren't a soccer player, what would you be doing?
It's a crazy question for me. Three things I would choose. Is it to be another sport or
Whatever you want to do.
It'd have to be another sport. I wanted to play a kicker or be like a tight end for the NFL.
Okay. I see a little Rob Gronkowski in you.
A little bit, right?
Okay. So it's more around football.
Absolutely.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, Robby Kristo, as we wrap up at home with, particularly knowing that we're all dealing with unprecedented times right now with COVID-19, what's your message to the fans and everybody watching? Because in your role, obviously, you are a role model during tough times. What's your message for all of us, Robby?
I know everyone's out there going crazy, having worry about staying home, and it's kind of bugging people out. I think just be safe. We'll get through this as soon as possible. I think the most important, we all want to get back and play. You guys want to get back to the stadium, but we're doing our best, and the league's doing its best to kind of figure out what's safest for you guys. And honestly, just take care of yourself right now, and once you take care of yourself, you're going to take care of other people.
All right, that's so well said. Robby Kristo, great to get to know you a little better. Thanks for telling us your entire story, including your time in St. Louis, Italy, Germany, and how much you like it right here. Robby Kristo, great presence up top, 6'5", when we get back, not if, when we get back, score a lot of goals. We know you will. Okay.
I appreciate that. One more thing, Dean. I had a little quarantine fun of myself. I got to do the reveal
Oh
here.
yeah, we got, of course.
I got to do the reveal. So my girlfriend actually did this for me. She cut it. She dyed it. I did a full-on blonde mohawk here. You guys can see. Same times, you know, you do some crazy things, but I'll just leave that there for now, honestly.
Yeah, leave it. Let's all soak it in. I can't believe I almost forgot the big reveal after I even promised everybody.
We were saving it for the end. That's what I was going on right there.
Check out the mohawk and a great message. At Home with Robby Kristo. Once again, we want to thank the Oak City supporters and the Renegados for their support. And just as importantly, we want to thank all the corporate partners for North Carolina FC. Robby Kristo, thanks for being with us. Jorge Acuna, thanks for your great work behind the scenes. And we'll see you next time right here at Home with. Thanks for watching, everybody.